Yeah, apparently King of Fighters All Stars is about to end of service, which is really, really crazy. Because I thought they were still doing a lot of good stuff. I mean, I thought they were still making a lot of stuff for the game. But if you look at this, it says this is King of Fighters All Star Dev Team. First of all, it was great regret that I have to unexpectedly deliver disappointing news. We'd like to inform you that King of Fighters All Star, which has received the support of many contenders for nearly 6 years, will end its service as of October 30th, 2024. In addition, regarding the end of this service, the Gachas development team has prepared a final greeting to all of you, so please check the following notice. We sincerely thank all the contenders who have been with us so far. Please refer below for the detailed information. So if you guys don't remember what Gachas is, or King of Fighters All-Stars, it's the mobile game that had all the collabs in there. Like they had crossovers with Tekken, Guilty Gear, they had crossover with WWE and all these other things. It's, another kind of auto battler kind of game, but I thought it was doing well because it was just having all these, continue to have all these updates to it and stuff, but apparently, it's not going to stay around anymore. And, for a gacha game, I mean, I definitely played Final Fantasy Record Keeper longer than that. And technically, that game is actually still alive because it's still living in Asia region. But yeah, I mean, gacha games are tough. Games as a service are tough, right? If you don't keep it fresh, if you don't keep it new, and it's always a tough thing, right? I mean, like, it's weird the way that video games are these days. Like, there's this like battle between trying to be a games as a service so that you continue to make money, and then there's the just the standard buy the game once kind of mentality. And I gotta tell you, man, personally, I'm not a fan of games as a service, especially when I was so invested in Record Keeper, and it was the only games as a service that I'd really ever gotten into. And when they announced the shutdown, like, it was hard for me because I really enjoyed that game and I put a lot of time into it and stuff. Like, I play a lot of Street Fighter Duel right now, but like, if you shut down Street Fighter Duel on me right now, I just wouldn't care. I play it as minimally as possible because of my experience on Final Fantasy Record Keeper. So it's actually just really, really weird how games as a service works. It's like, it sucks because you can't grow attached to the game. You just can't. And so, like, it's just so much better to me when it's a physical game. You know what I mean? It's something that you can play forever. And, it's scary because a lot of games these days are trying to go this route of kind of being the amalgamation of both, with the battle passes and all the gacha aspects and stuff. Crazy. Wait, what do you mean they shut down the China version? Did they actually stop Street Fighter Duel in China? Because that's where it started. Are they only developing it for US now? That's weird. I mean, I'm still free to play on it, so, In any case, I mean, the Battle Pass thing for a lot of current games don't bother me as much, just because I get it. These games need to stay alive. You need to develop something, right? You need to still be able to keep making money, because a game like Street Fighter 6, which has a world tour, and you want to keep it fresh and everything like that, you got to keep adding new characters. Money's got to come from somewhere. Money's got to come from somewhere, so... Oh, you stopped playing Street Fighter Duel because you were making bad life choices? I mean, the guy that I used to talk to the most about the game basically quit because he was making bad life choices with the game too. Gachas are scary, man. Like, the fact that I've lasted so long in that game without spending any money, and I'm actually doing not terrible, despite the fact that there are a ton of whales out there, is actually kind of surprising, to be honest with you. Yeah, they quit a lot. No, it wasn't Vicious. It was somebody else that I just talked to about it on Twitter a lot. And yeah, he was like, I gotta stop because I can't stop spending money on it no matter how much I try not to. I don't know how I have this kind of willpower that I do. Largely, I mean, I hate gambling. And, obviously I can be like, oh my gosh, I have no money right now, so I can't afford to spend anything. That's how I'm controlling myself. That's not how I'm controlling myself. I'm controlling myself because I've just always been this way. I'm always really, I mean, even when I had my programming job and was playing Final Fantasy Record Keeper to death, like, I didn't buy anything in that game. I only played it once. I only bought something on there once because I started to feel guilty. Stupendous is dude, that guy, I mean, he's like top 10 in the game or something. Like, he's crazy, dude. I joined his guild, so now I see him all the time and all the crazy things that he's doing. But yeah, you can actually see here, if you actually look at my game over here. I'll just show you on this one over here. I know it's the small camera over here, so it's weird. Actually, I wonder if I can do let's see if I do this. No, that's the small one. This is the big one. Yeah, right there. So you can still see at the top, there's that Chun-Li next to Cammy's hand over there. Boy, that focus is really bad. That focus is really bad. You can't see it. Actually, I should be able to do oh, no, there it is. And you can see that it still says first purchase on there. So that's the bonus you get when you buy your first item in the game. So yeah, needless to say, I haven't actually bought anything. But yeah, so I mean, again, for battle passes, stuff like that, I get it. The hardest part is that fighting games, I talked about this before, fighting games just haven't figured out how to make battle passes relevant. Like, can you give us stuff that we actually want out of the battle passes? So far in Street Fighter 6, they've been doing cool stuff. They've been giving us little extra music here and there. You can, and as long as you finish them, they keep paying for the next battle pass. So that's always a nice thing. But you get new emotes, new stickers and stuff like that. And while it's great, like, I'm never going to use any of that stuff, really, right? The only one that I did was I put on the Captain Sawada Seppuku emote just because I had to put that on there. But, they need to do more stuff, like every battle pass you get I've talked about this in a previous episode, but like you get a costume piece credit. And if you collect 10 of them, then you can get one of the costumes for free. Or color, or like you can get color pieces and you can spend them on colors and stuff like that. So stuff that can only be used for those kind of things. I think that would be worth it. And people would then want to do it and keep them on the battle passes, even if it takes a while to get the item, right? Like 10 is probably, like, getting 10 and 1 a month is probably too slow, maybe 5. Because if you think about it, I mean, there's 23 characters now, and, with 3 costumes each, that's like 60 something. If you were only getting costumes every 5 months, that would take you 30 years to get all the costumes. So I think it's a fair way to do it, because then it would keep people playing in the battle hubs and all that stuff like that. So yeah, there's not a lot of people who are playing a lot of the World Tour, but World Tour is still amazing. There's still a lot of great things about it, but yeah, kind of crazy to hear King of Fighters All-Star going by the wayside here. SNK just, they haven't been able to keep a lot of their gachas alive, and honestly, 6 years for King of Fighters All-Stars is really impressive that they were able to keep that game alive for that long. So shout outs to the devs on that one. But yeah, I started late, so obviously I started around 8:30. So then I'm going Metal Slug Attack, which they're bringing back, by the way. But now they're doing the other version instead of the gacha version. They're actually just making it so that it's a one-time purchase game. And now when you actually get it, you play it. And I was told that there's an in-game currency to replicate the gacha aspect. So just as you play the game, you get in-game credits that you can spend to pull for things and stuff like that. So that's apparently what they're trying to do. But in any case, let's get on to talk about these things over here. So we'll go ahead and call it quits here on the Kofas discussion here. Let's do an official intro for us. Let's do this right now. So, I mean, is that a bad thing, Chaos Master? Is that a bad thing to have less gacha games to play? Honestly, like the few gacha games that I play, I almost kind of wish that they would actually end. Like I wish they. The problem is, it's like when Final Fantasy Record Keeper ended, like I just started downloading all sorts of crap just to see if I could find something to replace it, and that's what Street Fighter Duel did for me. But Street Fighter Duel is weird because you really only need to play like for like a chunk once a day. So like after you finish your day thing, you don't need to touch it again until the next day. So, you know, if you are addicted to just doing stuff on your phone, you kind of need something like else like that. So 5 gachas, dude, I don't know. Oof, man. Yeah, I mean, a lot of like the little random gachas that I play, I'm always surprised to see how much people actually spend money on these games. Like, I'm so like tight with my money on these things, and like I said, this has nothing to do with my finances right now, because even when I had money, I never bought anything because it just never. So I hate gambling. I just hate gambling, and I know gachas are gambling, and the mere fact that I can spend money and get absolutely nothing will prevent me from spending money ever. Like that, like I cannot deal with that. But even on other games where it just costs money to buy stuff to help you progress faster, I just can't do it. Like I just can't do it. I can't spend money on these things. I can't say I'm cheap because I like to buy things. I like to get cool toys and stuff like that. I'm willing to, like, if I was working right now, I would own like another 4 Lego sets besides the Lego Optimus Prime that I have. It's just something about it. I cannot, like, I don't fall for the gacha lure. I just don't. I don't fall for the mobile game lure. It's just like it's so antithetical to my brain, you know. It's weird. Oh man, the danger is when you want all the characters, you need to spend to get enough currency for that. Otherwise, you can just be patient and only pick a select few. Yeah, I mean, in Street Fighter Duel, there's a bunch of characters that I can't get, and a lot of them are super strong too. There's definitely some pay-to-win stuff going on in that game, because there are some characters in Street Fighter Duel that are busted, dude. There are some characters that Vikondi Vega or whatever his name is, that is like the second claw in the game, is like he's just busted, dude. That character is really dumb. Man. There are sadly a few good mobile games that have some cool gameplay, but eventually ruined it for me with their gacha system and all the fear of missing out event stuff they schedule to keep up. It's so weird. Like, I look at all these, you know, you play these games, you get ads on your phone and stuff, you see just how shitty half of these games are. You're just looking at me like, these games suck. Like, these games are bad. And then as soon as one new idea comes out, then everybody copies that idea. The first time I saw one of those mobile games where it's like, unscrew things and let things fall, and then all of a sudden I noticed there's like 900 versions of that game, and I was like, what the hell is happening here? And you know, God, part of me just wants to go and start making mobile games just so I can make mobile games like old school style. Like, here, you can buy this game for literally like 99 cents or $2. It's a simple game. I'm just going to put ads on the bottom of it, but I'm going to just try to make really fun games for you. And as you know, if the reputation for making good games like that are not annoying, you know, and then try to do it in a way that, like, I take all these stupid games that everybody makes and find a way to actually make it fun and like a meaningful game, as opposed to I'm just gonna sit here and play, you know, Bejeweled kind of thing randomly until I just happen to get the right RNG and can pass the level. Like, I would like to actually like try to make something smart out of it, Bejeweled, something smart out of, you know, these merge games that you find, etc., etc. It would be really interesting. to try to just actually make real games on the phone. Like, can somebody actually survive making real games on mobile platform anymore? Like, is that just a thing? Like, even if it's just like simple games, like just cranking out simple games one after another, like, can somebody actually make a living off of that? Like the guy who made Flappy Bird, that it got so viral that he actually quit and delisted Flappy Bird. Oh man. I don't need it, Mike Lee. I don't need the Grand Blue. I don't need the Grand Blue. I don't want to do it. Oh man. I just wish that, I know it's probably a lot of data, but I just really wished the Final Fantasy record keeper, when it shut down, they were like, look, it's your phone space. Have fun, that they just let you download your team. Like, you can't do anything with them anymore, but you could just go and look at all the items they had. So they just let you download all the data and everything that you got from your team, so you can just stare at your game and just be like, my Celeste was really strong, kind of thing like that. I think that would have been nice. I still haven't even deleted Final Fantasy Record Keeper off my phone. Dude, Ryo Ayanami, you don't even want to know. I took hundreds of screenshots of my Final Fantasy Record Keeper because that's how sad I was to lose the game, because of how much work and effort and like organization and OCD that I put into that game. The amount of OCD that I put in that game to balance everything out, to have this game series have this many characters who are this powerful and did all this element and that element and weapons. And dude, I did so much OCDing on that game that I was like, I can't just let it go up in smoke. And so I literally screen capped the game like 1,000. Like, I have literal hundreds of screen caps of Final Fantasy Record Keeper on my phone. It's very sad. I just didn't want to let it go, man. I just didn't want to let it go. I wanted to remember my final state so I could be proud of how I was able to. Because a lot of the people who played Final Fantasy Record Keeper, like, eventually they force you into learning, to making good teams for all the games and stuff like that, and for different elements. But I did that from the get-go, so I was really proud of how well I distributed it and, like, used a certain, made sure every series I had at least 5 characters who were, like, it was just crazy like that. Yeah, how many mobile games are straight up lost media? I mean, they say the same thing about the Xbox Live Store and the Nintendo Wii Store. Right? The Nintendo Wii Store and stuff like that. Like, we have lost thousands of games, except for the people who were like, I have enough money. There are those people who literally went into I think it was the Xbox Live Store and maybe the Wii Store, and they literally bought every single game on there, if I'm not mistaken. If that's just rumors and I'm following for rumors or viral posts that aren't true, I apologize. But I heard that somebody actually went out there and literally bought, like, so there was a completionist that did it, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah, they literally bought every game, which is so crazy, dude. Like, it's wild, but more power to them, man, because it sucks. Video games as a medium are the hardest media to preserve, because everything else you can just move to the next format, right? Like, we're at compact discs now. Move the music to compact disc. We're all digital now. Move the music to digital. Hey, we're on VHS. Let's move to, DVDs. Let's move to Blu-rays. It's like, these things are very but video games, because they're so tied to the hardware, it's impossible, which is why I'm such a believer in the Mister Project, that a lot of the conservationists, what is the word? The conservationists are actually doing. You know, Mr. The reason why Mr. is so powerful is because Mr. isn't emulating the game. Mr. is emulating the hardware. Like, it's easy to get the games and dump the games to ROM and have digital versions of the games as ROM files. But in order for them to play accurately, you know, I know I've talked about it before, you know, the Billy Mitchell thing where they discovered that he was playing on the MAME, right, which has save states and stuff. But they figured that out because MAME is so universal that the way it handles ROMs is kind of in a very generic way. And so, like, it didn't actually draw the screen in the same order that the actual hardware did. But most of these games out there weren't built in a way like it did later on where we had the CPS1 board and stuff, but most of these games were just built in their own hardware, in their own, like you can't just replicate it as that easily. And so Mr. has done such a great job replicating a lot of the hardware, but you have to have the people who are super dedicated enough to do that. Yeah, preservationist. Yeah, I think that's the right one. So it's crazy. Video games, I mean, as a fan of video games, it's terrifying. It's really, really hard to preserve these things. And, you know, it's why I'm so, such a big, a preservationist. I mean, I can't do it, but I certainly believe in and support and, you know, really want to, you know, see the preservationists, the people who are preserving video games, succeed, because it is one of the hardest medias to actually do. That's why I loved that 30th anniversary collection, that Street Fighter 30th anniversary collection. I know a lot of people were mad at it, and yeah, for sure, like, now what we see what they're doing with the current, collections, you're like, wow, they could have just added training mode and, net code to every single game and all this stuff like that. But, you know, just being able to play those old games and still do all the glitches and everything like that, I think is amazing. And still why I think X-Men vs. Street Fighter needs to have all the versions on it for the Marvel collection. I am sad that we're only gonna get version 3 in that collection. So, I mean, the video game museum, it's impossible. There's too many. It's too expensive, and I mean, so much of video game preservation is also about cabinets and consoles and stuff and things like that. And there's just no warehouse big enough to be able to preserve all of that. But having the ability to at least, like, we might lose the art of some of these cabinets forever, you know, or people are replicating it and stuff, you know, trying their best. But if we can at least preserve the games forever, I think that is a really, really important. Liquid Metal, Flashy Flash? Are you talking about the Japanese Liquid Metal? Like the Japanese player Liquid Metal? Or is that a different Liquid Metal? Because there's a very, very famous Japanese versus game player named Liquid Metal who was amazing at those games. So, yeah, all museums need a wealthy benefactor. It's just really what it comes down to. Honestly, like, if I had infinite sums of money, I probably would start doing stuff like that. I would start like a fighting game museum because I have a shit ton of stuff that I could contribute to a fighting game museum. I could actually populate a fighting game museum with a lot of my own stuff. Honestly, like, I could. Oh God, why does this never work? I swear, this OBS thing is so hard to copy stuff out of the chat. Liquid Metal X. Oh no, this is a different guy. This is not the Japanese player. Okay, this is a different guy. So there's a Japanese player. I have photos of him from the first from the first Evo. Liquid Metal was amazing at these games. He's really good at like Marvel vs. Capcom 2. He was one of the only guys who was really like finding a lot of combos and stuff like that and doing a lot of stuff with that game. So that's a different Liquid Metal. Yeah, basically. I have to become a trillionaire. Too easy. Too easy. Oh man. In any case, let's actually do. So ROMs. I mean, I'm fine with ROMs, to be honest with you. They're preserving video games. Like, if it wasn't for the fact that, like, Nintendo going after ROMs and all these things like that, like, I mean, like, Nintendo's not preserving this stuff properly. Like all these companies are not preserving these things properly. So, like, the people generating the ROMs are the only ones who are preserving them. So absolutely keep making the ROMs. I mean, like, you make these ROMs of these old arcade games and stuff like that. Nobody is doing anything with them. You're not going to make money off of these things. And then you just have companies that shut things down and then kill stores. And suddenly these games are no longer ever available to be purchased ever again. Like, you're not doing anything with these games. So screw it. Make the ROMs, dude. Like, yes, I know it's illegal technically and it's pirating technically, but nobody else is preserving this stuff. So no, I have nothing wrong with ROMs, and I absolutely support people making these ROMs to preserve video games, because if it wasn't for these ROM creators, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I know it's not technically illegal. Like, there's probably ways around it, but it's man. Oh yeah, I've heard some problems with the Perfect Dark version. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's a lot of games that you just can't get anymore. I mean, for a long time, Marvel 3 was unpurchasable. It just was gone until it finally showed up on Steam again. But, like, Marvel 3 was, at one point in time, completely unpurchasable. And if you wanted to ever buy it again, you just couldn't. There was no way to access that game. PT, the playable... PT, what was the T stand for? I forgot again. Whatever. But yeah, the Silent Hill game made by Kojima and Del Toro, which honestly is I still have my PS4 with PT installed as well.